Okay, so we're going to start off here this morning with a recap of the El Nino Southern Oscillation conditions here. Again, just kind of defining what El Nino, La Nina are and how we've been doing really so far this year. So again, El Nino is defined as a warming of sea surface temperatures, or the SSTs abbreviated, along the Equatorial Pacific between 170 degrees and 120 degrees west longitude and 5 degrees north and south latitude. What we're looking for really are the three-month running means of sea surface temperatures that are greater than a half a degree Celsius or more, whereas La Nina is directly the opposite. It's a cooling of the sea surface temperatures in that same region as El Nino, except the difference there, we're dealing with 3-month running mean of sea surface temperatures less than minus a half degree Celsius there. Basically what we've really been seeing here really since late spring of 2012, we've seen really neutral conditions across the Equatorial Pacific, so we really haven't seen any kind of El Nino or La Nina conditions whatsoever here, and again, that's been the case really all of this year as well. We fast forward here to the next slide. These are what I have here is just something I've taken from our last webinar here earlier this spring, and what I did was I took all the neutral years that we've had on record since 1950, again running from January to December, and giving you a departure from normal with temperatures here on the left and precipitation here on the right. And so really temperature wise during neutral seasons, we've been for the most part near normal, give or take a degree or two, whereas during neutral conditions we've actually shown a little bit of a dry bias here, which is more evident here in southern Arkansas and north Louisiana, again kind of either way across East Texas, southeast Oklahoma, and adjacent sections of southwest Arkansas. So again, this is just climatology. This is based on years that neutral conditions have been present from 1950 through the current time as of 2013. So what I have loading next is actually the departure from normal temperatures and precipitation from the start of this year all the way through October 31st here. And so on the left hand side we've got departure from normal temperatures, which we've seen slightly below normal temperatures so far through the end of October, which nothing really stands out except for a little bit of a kind of a cold bias here across parts of South Arkansas here. But what I do want to make mention of, though, are departure from normal precipits. Again, mentioned before that we do have a dry bias across climatology-wise across North Louisiana and South Arkansas, and that's definitely evident here as we see departure from normal precip averaging anywhere from 4 to nearly 10 inches across really much of North Louisiana. It's mainly the far northwestern part of the state, extreme southern Arkansas, that we actually have our highest deficits now. And we'll have another graphic a little later in the presentation. But again, for the most part, we're looking, we've been actually quite dry for the last couple of months. We've shown actually pretty dry conditions here, but we're going to make up some of this deficit here this week, as we're expecting widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain really over much of the area. So expect some improvement to departure from normal precip conditions here by the end of this week. Now, going by the seasons here, I have a spring temperature recap, which I'll do precipitation here as well. But pay attention here to the right hand side. Again, spring for the most part across our region, we saw slightly cooler than normal conditions area wide. Again, we actually kept fairly cool conditions even in through the middle part of May, with even some frosty conditions even as late as parts of May there. So fast forward to the precipitation for the springtime months. And again, for the most part, near to slightly above normal precipitation through all the spring over much of the region. We do start to see a little bit of dryness occur during the springtime months across the far western parts of East Texas, and it's more indicative out further west towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area into central Oklahoma. As we move ahead towards the summer, we'll look here at the temperatures here. Again, near to even slightly below normal temperatures felt area-wide across much of our region. In fact, really, we, as I recall, we did set some record low maximum temperatures even during the month of June and July, even through the middle part of July. Some very abnormally cool temperatures during that part of the month there, with a few weak cold frontal passages there. But once really the latter part of July kicked in, we really began to feel the humidity, and of course the temperature responded with that as well. But for the most part, we did average to near to slightly below normal temperatures area-wide. Now, during the summer months, that's when we had begun to start to see some of the precipitation deficits mounting, especially across areas of northeast Texas, far southwest Arkansas, and northwest Louisiana. Deficits on the order of 2 to 4 inches were common across these areas here. So it was really, especially from the August, and especially it's been exacerbated in the September and October time frames across this area here as well. So elsewhere, we actually saw near to even slightly above normal precip across the remainder of the region during the summertime months. So certainly drought was really limited to our portion of the region. Now, what I have here is the fall temperature review, and this is only taking into account September and October only. For meteorological purposes, fall is we also count all of November in as part of the fall. But so I have 2 of the 3 months incorporated here for our fall temperature and precipitation review here. And as you can see here, during the first 2 months of fall, we've seen really above normal temperatures area-wide, and that's also contributed to the lack of rainfall that we've seen during the last couple of months there as well. So on average, temperatures range from, say, a degree, 1 to 2 plus degrees above normal so far for the fall season. You'll really be able to see the precipitation deficits here in this next slide, taken during the last couple of months, September and October. And as you can see here, really with the exception of, say, McCurtain County, Oklahoma, Sevier and Howard counties in Arkansas, and really a small area here across the Tyler Longview areas, everyone else experienced slightly to much below normal rainfall during the last couple of months. Again, that's been exacerbated here across parts of northeast Texas, southwest Arkansas, and northwest Louisiana. Those same areas that had actually received below normal precip during the summertime months there as well. So, and really over the last couple of months, we've really begun to see some dryness really beginning to mount across much of north central Louisiana. And again, this is for the years so far. This is just zoomed in year to date from the first of the year all the way through the end of October. So far, we're still averaging slightly below normal temperatures over much of the region. We still have 2 more months to go, but by the time it's all said and done, we may end up closer to near to slightly below normal temperatures, as kind of indicated by the climatology slide I showed at the very beginning of this presentation. Again, rainfall wise, you can certainly see the deficits here that are mounting across areas from northeast Texas, far southwest Arkansas, and northwest Louisiana. In fact, Texarkana, Arkansas, at the Webb County Field Airport and on the Arkansas side of the city, by the end of the day, we're going to see yearly rainfall deficits already closing in on 10 3/4 inches. Here in Shreveport at the airport here, we'll be closing in on 9.5 inches. El Dorado, Arkansas, we're looking at 8 3/4 inches. So some of this red area here that's denoted by 12 to 16 inches is a little overdone for the year-to-date rainfall. However, It's a little more accurate than some of the other images that I've already shown you here this morning. So we're averaging as a whole anywhere from widespread 8 to nearly 11-inch deficits for the year across this region. Elsewhere, we're doing pretty good on rainfall across, mainly along and south of I-20 here in East Texas, near to slightly above normal rainfall, and especially here up in northern parts of southwest Arkansas and the southeastern parts of north central Louisiana. In fact, through October 31st, these are just some of the year-to-date departure from normal rainfall averages that I have. So just pick a city near you and you can kind of get an idea of what departures are looking like. Again, by far the worst conditions are being felt here in northwest Louisiana, southwest Arkansas. This Tyler rainfall graphic may be a bit skewed because the city itself is actually doing pretty good based on some of the co-op data I've looked at here. So the airport just happens to be west of town, and there's a noticeable dry bias with the airport compared to the city itself.